For years, one name has completely ruled fast food in Jamaica. You can find it in every parish, every town, and every long lunchtime line that wraps around the building. That name is KFC. But what if I told you that before KFC became this dominant, Jamaica also had McDonald's? And what if, with how massive the fast food market is today, it might actually make sense for McDonald's to come back? Let's take a closer look at why the Golden Arches disappeared and why this might be the perfect time for their return. Most Jamaicans today only know McDonald's from overseas trips or American movies. But back in the 1990s, McDonald's actually operated right here in Jamaica. The first location opened in 1995 with all the fanfare you'd expect from one of the world's most recognizable brands. For a while, it seemed like McDonald's was here to stay. But by 2005, every single location had closed. The entire franchise packed up and left the island. On paper, it was due to low sales and franchise difficulties. But the real reasons were deeper, linked to Jamaica's economic realities at the time and stiff competition from KFC, which had already become a household name. When McDonald's launched locally, Jamaica's restaurant market was nothing like it is today. Fast food wasn't a daily habit for most people. The economy was smaller, disposable income was lower, and supply chains were limited. McDonald's relied heavily on imported ingredients and equipment, which made operations expensive. Prices were high, and the food didn't connect with local tastes. It felt more like a foreign luxury than something built for Jamaicans. Meanwhile, KFC had already adapted perfectly to the local culture. It wasn't just selling food, it was selling a flavor that Jamaicans recognized as their own. KFC didn't need to convince anyone. From the 1970s onward, it became part of Jamaican life. The chicken was spicier, the portions were generous, and the flavor was unforgettable. Families grabbed KFC after church, students lined up after school, long lines on Fridays were a normal sight. That strong cultural fit is what kept KFC growing while McDonald's struggled. When McDonald's left in 2005, KFC didn't just take the lead, it completely dominated the field. Fast forward nearly 20 years later, and the story has changed. Jamaica's fast food industry has grown dramatically. According to international trade data, quick service restaurants now account for more than half of the entire restaurant sector on the island. That means most of the food Jamaicans buy when they eat out comes from fast food. It's not just KFC anymore. Burger King, Popeyes, Wendy's, Domino's, and even Starbucks have carved out space in the market. But still, none of them touch the loyalty and popularity of KFC. KFC's success in Jamaica is massive. Operated by Restaurants of Jamaica known as ROJ, the franchise has become one of the country's biggest business success stories. They celebrated 50 years of KFC in Jamaica not long ago, and they keep opening new branches almost every year. From Kingston to Montego Bay to smaller towns like Christiana and Mapen, KFC is everywhere. The newest branches cost hundreds of millions of Jamaican dollars to build and employ hundreds of local workers. Every opening turns into a local event. People line up for hours on the first day just to get that first box of spicy chicken from a new location. That kind of loyalty doesn't just happen, it's earned through decades of consistency. So what does all this mean for McDonald's? It means Jamaica is now a proven fast food market. The same challenges that forced McDonald's out 20 years ago are not as severe today. Infrastructure is better, supply chains are stronger, there's more money circulating in the economy, and consumers have developed a strong fast food habit. That's why the question of McDonald's returning isn't unrealistic anymore. In fact, if you look closely at the numbers, it almost makes sense for McDonald's to come back. McDonald's operates in dozens of small and mid-sized markets around the world, many of which have populations and incomes similar to Jamaica. What they usually look for is demand, and Jamaica clearly has that. When a country can support more than 40 KFC branches, along with other competing chains, that's evidence of a strong, sustainable fast food economy. McDonald's wouldn't need hundreds of stores to succeed here. A few strategic locations could be enough to test the waters and build momentum. The first logical step would be a flagship store, possibly in Kingston or Montego Bay, to capture both locals and tourists. Montego Bay especially would make sense given its steady flow of international visitors. Tourists already familiar with McDonald's would recognize it instantly, while locals would show up out of curiosity and nostalgia. After all, many Jamaicans still remember the old McDonald's era, even if it was short-lived. The marketing potential around McDonald's returns to Jamaica practically writes itself. But this time, the company would have to do things differently. One of the main reasons KFC dominates is because it doesn't just sell imported food, it sells a Jamaican experience. The chicken is spicy, the menu is localized, and the service feels familiar. McDonald's would have to adapt in a similar way. They couldn't just copy the American menu and expect success. They would need to localize, to create Jamaican-inspired items that actually fit local tastes. Imagine a jerk-flavored McChicken sandwich, or plantain fries, or a tropical sorrel smoothie. It's ideas like those that could make McDonald's stand out rather than feel foreign. And let's be honest, the curiosity alone would drive massive interest. Jamaicans are deeply loyal to their favorite brands, but they also love to try new things. If McDonald's announced its return, the lines would be long from day one. People would want to see how it compares to KFC. Some would go for nostalgia, others just to say they tried it. And that initial wave could give McDonald's the momentum it needs to establish itself again. It's also important to remember how much Jamaica's image has changed in the eyes of global investors. The country has become one of the most stable economies in the Caribbean. It's attractive to international franchises because the demand is strong, the tourism industry is steady, and the culture is highly receptive to international brands. McDonald's has been expanding aggressively in regions like Latin America and the Caribbean, and Jamaica would fit right into that strategy. The island's urban centers, heavy tourism flow, and young digitally connected population make it an ideal testing ground for a modern tech-driven fast food model. Local sourcing would also be essential. One of the problems McDonald's faced in the 1990s was cost. They relied heavily on imported goods, which drove up menu prices. Today, Jamaica has stronger agricultural and food processing sectors that could supply key ingredients locally. By working with Jamaican farmers and producers, McDonald's could reduce costs and market themselves as supporting local business, something that resonates strongly with Jamaican consumers. A Made in Jamaica angle could go a long way towards winning over the public. There's also a huge opportunity in tourism. Each year, millions of visitors arrive from countries where McDonald's is a familiar brand. For them, grabbing a quick burger between tours or before heading to the airport is normal. That tourist demand alone could keep certain locations profitable even before factoring in local customers. With McDonald's global recognition, a Jamaican location wouldn't just serve food, it would become a symbol of Jamaica's economic progress and modern retail landscape. If McDonald's were to announce a return, it would instantly dominate headlines. Local media would cover it nonstop, social media would explode with reactions, debates, and comparisons to KFC. People would dig up memories from the old stores in Kingston, and younger Jamaicans would be eager to try McDonald's for the first time. That buzz would translate directly into sales, giving the brand a strong entry point. From there, its success would depend on how quickly it could adapt to the Jamaican palate. But even with KFC's deep roots, there's room for both. Burger King already operates here, Popeyes has found success, Wendy's has a following. Jamaica's population may be smaller than some countries, but its food culture is extremely active. Jamaicans love options. And once a brand earns its trust, loyalty follows. That's why KFC's continued success doesn't mean they have no room left, it just means the bar for entry is high. McDonald's would have to work to meet it. It's easy to imagine how the first few months might look if McDonald's came back. Crowded lines, excited social media posts, tourists snapping fooders under the golden arches. The novelty alone would create a short-term boom. But if the food connects, that curiosity could turn into long-term loyalty. And that's when McDonald's could start expanding, carefully, one location at a time, focusing on urban centers and tourist hotspots.